All right, so today we're diving into something that might just change how you look at Facebook.
Ooh, this is a good one.
Yeah, we're taking a deep dive into FB Purity.
Okay.
It's this browser extension that basically lets you customize and clean up your Facebook feed.
Oh, interesting.
Think about it. It's kind of like having a personal filter for all that, all that Facebook chaos, right?
I like that. A personal filter.
So imagine a Facebook feed that's actually like curated just for you. Like no more random game requests, no more of those sponsored posts that you just scroll right past anyway.
Yeah.
Just the stuff that you actually want to see.
Right. And this isn't just like some, little tiny tool. Like I think I saw that the Washington Post and CNET have actually reviewed FB Purity.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they actually praised it for making Facebook, more enjoyable.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I think we've all had that feeling at some point where you're just scrolling and scrolling through Facebook and you kind of get that fatigue and you're like,
Yeah.
is any of this even relevant to me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this connecting me with people or is it just like sucking up all my time?
Right. Totally.
And, maybe that's exactly the problem that FP Purity is trying to solve.
Yeah. I think it's really all about putting you back in control,
Okay.
It's not about deleting Facebook entirely.
Yeah.
It's about making Facebook work for you.
So instead of just being bombarded by like whatever the algorithm decides I should see,
Exactly.
I can actually like choose what shows up in my feed.
Yes, precisely. So think of it like decluttering, but for your digital life.
Okay.
Right? So FB Purity lets you filter out all sorts of things like ads, sponsored posts, even those people you may know, suggestions that are like sometimes a little creepy.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
You can actually get rid of those people you may know things?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I have to admit, some of those suggestions make me wonder if Facebook is like listening to my conversations or something.
Well, maybe not listening, but the algorithm can be a little uncanny.
Yeah.
It knows a lot about us. But this kind of raises a bigger point,
Right.
Like one of the reviews I was reading, I think it was on CNET, they talked about FB Purity as a way to almost recapture like the olden days of Facebook.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, remember when Facebook was mostly about just connecting with friends and sharing like fun updates?
Yeah, before it became like this giant platform for, businesses and targeted advertising and everything.
Exactly, yeah.
But, I mean, is it really possible to go back to that,
Right.
Facebook has changed so much.
It really has, and that's the big question, right?
Yeah.
Can a tool like this actually change the whole feeling of the platform?
Right.
Or is it more about changing your individual experience within that platform?
Yeah, because I guess I'm wondering, like, what does a simpler Facebook even look like today? It's not like we can just erase all the changes that have happened.
Yeah, you can't just wipe it all away. It's about choosing.
Okay.
FB Purity gives you that power to decide like what parts of Facebook you actually want to engage with.
Mm-hmm.
And that level of like customization is really what's so interesting here, right?
Okay.
It's not just about decluttering.
Yeah.
It's about like shaping your whole online experience to better reflect like your values and priorities.
So you're saying it's more than just like blocking a couple annoying posts here and there.
Exactly.
It's about like creating a Facebook feed that actually reflects what you find valuable.
Yeah.
Whether that's, staying connected with close friends or like engaging in certain groups or, I don't know, maybe even just seeing more funny cat videos, whatever it is, right?
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
about reclaiming your attention and just being more intentional about how you spend your time online.
Okay.
You're not just passively like consuming whatever Facebook throws at you.
Yeah.
You're actively choosing what you want to see.
So it's almost like creating like a mini Facebook inside of Facebook.
Yeah, like your own little world.
Yeah, you're building your own little corner of the platform that's like tailored to your interests.
Exactly. You're essentially curating your own Facebook experience.
I like that. Okay, so let's get down to like the nitty gritty here.
Yep.
What kind of control are we actually talking about?
Yeah.
Can I really customize like just about anything?
It's pretty amazing the options are surprisingly granular. Like,
Right.
remember those game requests we talked about?
Yeah.
FB Purity can make those a thing of the past.
Oh, wow.
You can filter out specific types of posts. You can hide entire sections of the interface. You can even like tweak the layout to your liking.
Oh, wow. That's pretty impressive.
It is. It is.
So it's not even just about like getting rid of those game requests or those ads. It's like I can actually make Facebook like the whole experience more about what I want out of it.
Exactly.
Mm.
And the more I think about it, the more this idea of curating your online experience
Yeah.
really kind of resonates with me.
Okay.
It's like we're all becoming editors of our own like digital lives. We have to decide what we let in, what we filter out, what we actually give our attention to.
Yeah, and I think that's especially important these days when you consider just how much time people are spending on social media.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so easy to get just like swept up in that constant flow of information and kind of lose track of what's actually important.
It's almost like our attention has become this like precious commodity.
Right.
That these platforms are all fighting for.
Yeah, and that's where a tool like FB Purity comes in, right?
Exactly.
It's like saying, hold on, I get to decide how my attention is spent.
Yes, exactly. You're taking back control.
Yeah.
And, it's not even just about productivity. There's like a mental health aspect to this, too.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
yeah. I know I've definitely felt that sense of like overwhelm from Facebook before.
Totally.
Like it's just too much input, too much noise. It can be exhausting.
It's like being at a party where everyone's talking to you at the same time.
Oh, that's a good analogy.
You can't focus on any one conversation, and you just end up feeling like drained and disconnected.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. And that's why having that ability to like filter and focus is so important. It's about creating a space where you can actually connect with, the people and the ideas that matter to you.
Yeah.
Without being bombarded by all the rest.
Exactly. And that kind of brings us back to that CNET review that mentioned like the olden days of Facebook.
Right.
I'm curious, what did Facebook even mean to you back then?
It's funny you asked that, but back then it really was just about connecting with friends.
Okay.
It was a way to like stay in touch with people I didn't see every day.
Yeah.
Share funny stories, see what everyone was up to. It felt, I don't know, it felt more personal, more genuine somehow.
Yeah. And do you think that sense of connection is still possible on Facebook today?
Honestly, it's something I've been wrestling with a lot lately.
Oh.
It feels like Facebook has become this like giant marketplace where everyone is trying to sell you something, whether it's like a product or an idea or even like just their own personal brand,
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
It's like the lines between personal connection and like commercialization have just become so blurred.
Yeah, and I think that's where the frustration comes in for a lot of people.
Right.
It's like, I just want to connect with my friends and family, but now I'm wading through all this other stuff.
Yeah, you got to sift through so much.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's where like the appeal of FB Purity really comes in.
Okay.
It's not about rejecting Facebook completely.
Right.
It's about reclaiming those aspects that you actually originally enjoyed.
So it's like taking this giant sprawling platform and kind of carving out your own little niche. It's like, this is my space and these are the rules.
Exactly. And having that sense of control can be really empowering.
Okay.
Instead of feeling like you're at the mercy of Facebook's algorithm.
Yeah.
You're taking charge of your own experience.
But let's play devil's advocate for a second.
Okay, yeah.
Some people might say, well, if you don't like what you're seeing on Facebook, why not just, use it less?
Right.
How would you respond to that?
Well, I mean, it's a valid point.
Yeah.
And for some people, that might be the best solution.
Sure.
But I think it's important to remember that, Facebook is such a, deeply ingrained part of our culture now.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it's the primary way they stay connected with friends and family. They share news. They even organize events.
Right.
So just like abandoning it entirely might not be realistic or even desirable.
Not just a simple on or off switch.
Exactly. It's much more nuanced than that. Yeah. And that's why a tool like FB Purity can be so valuable.
Okay.
It offers like a middle ground.
Okay.
It lets you stay connected without feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
You can engage with those parts of Facebook that you actually enjoy while filtering out all the noise.
So it's not about becoming a Facebook hermit?
Right.
It's about being more mindful and intentional.
Yes, exactly.
About how you use the platform.
It's about taking control of your digital life, and shaping it in a way that actually aligns with your values and priorities.
Okay.
And honestly, that's a skill that's becoming more and more important in this hyper-connected world.
So we've talked about the good stuff, the potential benefits of FB Purity.
Right.
But let's address, the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Anytime you're installing a browser extension, there are always those concerns about security and privacy.
Of course, and those are very valid concerns.
Yeah.
It's important to be cautious about what you install on your computer and do your research before you, hand over any of your personal data.
So what can you tell us about FB Purity in terms of safety and reliability?
Well, I mean, like we mentioned earlier, it's been reviewed by some pretty reputable sources like
Yeah.
the Washington Post and CNET,
Right.
which is a good sign.
Hmm.
It also has a pretty long track record. I
Okay.
think it's been around since 2009,
Oh.
and it's one of the highest rated extensions for Firefox.
Oh, wow.
So that suggests a good level of like trust and satisfaction within the community.
Okay, that's reassuring.
Yeah.
But are there any like downsides or risks that people should be aware of?
Well, one thing to keep in mind is that it is a third-party tool,
Okay.
which means it's not officially endorsed or supported by Facebook.
Right. So there's always that possibility that Facebook could like change something on their end
Right, exactly.
that could affect how FB Purity works.
Exactly. And it's also important to note that, the website does have that terms and conditions disclaimer.
Okay, what does that say?
Basically, it states that, you use FB Purity at your own risk.
Okay.
And they don't offer any guarantees about its functionality or usability.
Yeah.
Standard legal language.
Right.
But it's always good to be aware of it.
Of course, a little common sense, a little digital hygiene
Right, exactly.
never hurts.
Yeah, you shouldn't just install, any random extension without knowing what it does.
Right, exactly.
But in the case of FB Purity, it seems like they've been around long enough
Yeah.
and have a strong enough reputation that those concerns are somewhat mitigated.
All right, so let's say someone's convinced and they want to give FB Purity a try.
Okay.
What's the process like? Is it complicated to set up?
Not at all. It's super user-friendly.
Okay.
You just go to the FB Purity website, download the extension for your browser, install it.
Okay.
Once it's installed, you'll see a new FB Purity settings page within Facebook where you can customize everything to your liking.
So it's not like I need to be like a tech whiz to figure this out.
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's very intuitive,
Okay.
and there's a whole help section on the website if you get stuck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they have FAQs, troubleshooting tips, all that good stuff.
So they really thought of everything.
They have.
It sounds like they put a lot of effort into making it, accessible to a wide range of users.
They really have, and that attention to detail
Yeah.
really says a lot about their commitment to,
Yeah.
providing a good user experience.
Okay, so let's say I've installed it. I've tweaked all the settings.
Mm,
I'm ready to experience this like whole new Facebook.
yeah.
What can I realistically expect to see?
Well, it really depends on your individual settings.
Right.
Like we said, FB Purity is all about customization.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, you can expect a cleaner, more streamlined Facebook experience.
Okay.
You'll see less of the things that annoy you,
Mm-hmm.
more of the stuff that you actually care about.
So it's not like some magical overnight transformation.
Right.
It's more about, making gradual changes that lead to a more enjoyable experience.
Exactly. It's about refining your Facebook feed
Okay.
until it aligns with your, preferences and priorities.
Yeah.
And the best part is you can always adjust the settings as your needs change.
Okay.
You're in control.
I'm starting to see how this goes beyond just like decluttering. It's almost like a mindfulness exercise
Yes.
for your digital life.
It's-
You're becoming more aware of what you're consuming online
Yeah.
and making those conscious choices about what you're letting into your, your mental space.
Exactly. You're taking ownership of your online experience and shaping it in a way that supports your well-being.
But let's be real. Can a tool like FB Purity really address like the deeper issues that people have with social media?
Right.
We've talked about addiction, comparison, FOMO, all that stuff. Those are pretty big challenges.
You're right. Those are complex issues, and a browser extension isn't going to solve them overnight. But I do think FB Purity can be a valuable tool in the broader context of digital well-being.
How so?
Well, by giving you more control over your Facebook feed, it can help reduce some of those triggers that, contribute to those negative feelings.
Okay.
Like if you're constantly seeing images of people living these like seemingly perfect lives,
Right.
it's easy to start feeling inadequate.
Yeah, it's like you're only seeing everyone's highlight reel, right?
Exactly. And it's hard not to compare yourself
Yeah.
and feel like you're falling short.
Right.
But if you can filter out some of that noise and create a feed that's more aligned with, your values, it can help create a healthier mental space.
Okay.
You're less likely to get triggered,
Yeah.
and you're more likely to, engage with content that's actually meaningful to you.
So it's not a cure-all,
Right.
but it can be a step in the right direction.
Exactly.
It's about creating a more, I guess, intentional and mindful relationship
Yeah.
with social media.
Absolutely. And that's a journey that looks different for everyone.
Right.
There's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Yeah.
But, having tools like FB Purity available can really empower people to take control and make choices that support their well-being.
So let's kind of shift gears a bit and talk about the bigger picture.
Okay.
We've been focusing on FB Purity,
Right.
how it can improve the individual's Facebook experience.
Mm-hmm.
But does this point to a larger trend?
Yeah.
Are we seeing a growing need for tools that help us manage our online lives more effectively?
That's a great question, and I think the answer is like a resounding yes.
Okay.
As we become more and more reliant on technology and social media,
Yeah.
the need for these tools that can help us navigate those spaces
Mm-hmm.
in a healthy and balanced way is becoming more and more apparent.
It's almost like we need like a whole new set of digital skills to thrive in this this hyper-connected world.
I totally agree. We need to learn how to, curate our online experiences, manage our attention, set boundaries, protect our privacy, all of that.
Right. Those are essential skills these days.
They are.
And it's not just about like individual well-being. There are like broader societal implications as well.
Absolutely. The way we design and use technology has a huge impact on our culture,
Yeah.
our relationships, our democracy.
Right.
It's so important that we start having more of these critical conversations.
So FB Purity is more than just a browser extension.
Right.
It's a symbol of like a larger movement
Yeah,
towards reclaiming our digital lives.
I love that. Taking back control,
Yeah.
making conscious choices, shaping our online experiences to actually reflect our values.
So what can our listeners do to start, taking more control of their own digital lives?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's about developing a sense of awareness.
Okay.
Start paying attention to how you're using technology, how it makes you feel, what impact it's having on your life.
So step one is just like taking a step back and observing
Exactly.
your own habits and patterns.
Exactly. Once you understand your own relationship with technology,
Yeah.
you can start making those more conscious choices.
Like setting limits on your screen time,
Yeah.
being more selective about the apps you use,
Yeah.
maybe even taking breaks from technology altogether.
Absolutely. It's about finding what works for you
Mm-hmm.
and creating a digital lifestyle that actually supports your well-being.
And it's not about being perfect
No.
or becoming like a tech Luddite or something.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
about finding that balance.
Exactly. Finding a balance that feels right for you.
Yeah.
It's about integrating technology into our lives
Mhm.
in a way that's healthy, productive, and fulfilling.
Okay, so let's wrap this up.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've talked about FB Purity, curating your online experience, digital well-being, the broader implications of technology, all that stuff.
It's been a good conversation.
What's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
I think the most important message is that you have the power to choose.
Okay.
You don't have to be a passive consumer of technology.
Right.
You can take control of your online experience and shape it in a way that aligns with your values and your priorities.
I like that. That's very empowering.
It is. It's about reclaiming agency in a world where it often feels like we're being swept along by forces beyond our control.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
Right.
There's no one right way to do this.
Yeah.
It's about experimenting, finding what works for you, and making adjustments as you go along.
And it's about being kind to yourself.
Absolutely.
We're all kind of navigating this new digital landscape together.
We are.
There's no shame in feeling overwhelmed
Right.
or struggling to find that balance.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so important to approach this with compassion and understanding for ourselves and for others.
All right, so let's leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question
Okay.
to ponder as we head out,
Yeah.
as social media platforms, continue to evolve and become more integrated into our lives. What role will tools like FB Purity play in shaping our online experiences?
Yeah.
Will they become essential for maintaining a healthy and balanced relationship with technology?
Right.
Or will we find, new and innovative ways to navigate these digital spaces?
Those are excellent questions.
Yeah.
And I don't think there are any easy answers.
Right.
But I do think that the conversation we're having today is so important. The more we talk about these issues,
Yeah.
the more aware we become.
Right.
And the better equipped we'll be to make those choices that really support our well-being.
Absolutely. So, listeners, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep shaping your digital world in a way that works for you.
Love it.
Well, we started this deep dive talking about FB Purity as a way to clean up your Facebook feed. But it feels like this conversation has kind of become something much bigger.
It really has. Yeah. We've gone from like blocking game requests
Right.
to talking about like digital well-being and the attention economy and like
Mm.
even the future of social media.
Yeah, and I think that just shows the power of a tool like FB Purity, right? It's
Yeah.
not just about like tweaking a couple settings. It's about getting us to think differently about how we're using technology and what kind of online experience we actually want, you know?
It's like FB Purity is holding up a mirror to our digital lives
Yeah.
and asking us, are you happy with what you see? Or could things be better?
I like that. I like that a lot because it's not about, judging how anyone uses Facebook.
No, not at all.
It's about giving people the tools to make their own choices.
Exactly.
Choices that are right for them.
And choices that align with their values, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious, what's your final thought? What's the one thing you want listeners to take away from this conversation?
I think the most important thing to remember is that we all have a choice in how we engage with technology.
Okay.
We don't have to be passive.
Right.
We could be active. We can shape our digital lives
Yeah.
in a way that really supports our well-being.
Yeah. And reflects who we are. Right.
Exactly.
And that brings me back to something we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
This idea of reclaiming your attention,
Yeah.
in a world where everyone's fighting for our attention.
Right.
It's more important than ever to be mindful of where we're putting our focus.
Absolutely. It's like recognizing that our attention is a precious resource
Mm-hmm.
and we get to decide how we spend it.
Exactly. So listeners, as you head back out into the digital world, remember this. You have the power to choose.
Yeah.
You can curate your online experience.
You can filter out the noise
You can focus on what matters to you.
and don't be afraid to experiment,
Yeah.
try out different tools,
Yeah.
tweak your settings, see what works.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's no right or wrong answer. Exactly.
It's about what works for you.
Yeah, it's all about creating a digital life that feels good and authentic and fulfilling,
Exactly. And aligned with your values.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, that about wraps it up for this deep dive. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And keep diving deep.